Hello everybody, I'm Mike from the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike podcast, and I am back with another first time watch reaction to a classic era Doctor Who, and I am what I believe is the end of the first season. What a long first season by today's standards of 8-episode event series. This was very much a different time, wasn't it? I think about the 22, 24, 26 episode seasons of the TV shows that I grew up on in the 1970s and 80s, and the sci-fi shows of the 90s like the X-Files and Buffy and all of those shows. You know, I thought that was a lot. So yeah, this is crazy. It's the sixth part of the Reign of Terror serial as well. So yeah, looking forward to getting into this. And I believe that this is a return to a quote regular episode. I think that this is not one of the infamous lost episodes, so I'm looking forward to returning to the regular aesthetics of the show. Yeah, and then having a bit of a reboot and a reset, a little bit of a sorbet, and then getting back into the second season with renewed vigor. So yeah, let's see how things close out. I'm not expecting this to be like a season finale in the traditional modern sense in the word. That's just not kind of how they did it back then. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how this one closes out. A couple of quick things. Just a reminder that I do appreciate feedback, either via email, which you can send to rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com, or you can just leave comments here on the channel. And I just want to mention that I very much appreciate people doing that, as well as subscribing to the channel and setting your alerts so you know when new stuff pops up. That makes a really big difference to how many people find the channel, and that's a powerful motivator to do these with a greater level of regularity. But let's get back to the final part of the Reign of Terror, part 6. Let's do this.
Here they are.
Lemaitre.
Your friend has betrayed us. You brought this.
It's a great convention of the time, isn't it? You know, waiting, pausing to let the credits play as well. I enjoy that theatricality.
Soldiers.
No, I came alone and unarmed. Ask your friend.
We came alone, my boy. We made a bargain. Let him speak. Susan, hold prisoner.
What can you have to say to us?
Please, I come as a friend.
A friend?
Ian will tell you that what I say is true.
I do love the look that Hartnell's got in this, and how much he and the character are enjoying the wallowing in the pomposity of this. It's very insane.
I will. Well, surely you realize that your escape from prison was arranged.
Webster did speak of that.
What did he say?
Well, nothing specific.
You can really feel the sort of spectre of radio here. And I know I've said before that obviously because of the limitations and the sort of enforced theatricality of Who, that it very much feels like an offshoot of sort of visual radio. And I think it's really apparent in this serial. I think the period setting, but just the patter of the dialogue and how dialogue heavy it is, and how kind of complex and Machiavellian the storyline is as well, very much lends itself to being dramatized on the radio.
But he said Barras meeting, and I still don't understand why you need our help.
Barras knows me by sight. I'm sure of that. He could even know of you, Doctor.
He is quite recognizable.
Now, my plan, if you agree,
Distinct.
is for Barbara and Ian to attend the meeting.
Nonsense. It's far too risky.
Finished.
Good.
You know, if Barras doesn't arrive soon, you'll find the place closed.
Perhaps that's what he's waiting for.
Great staging here, you know, the lightning outside and the actual environment itself. They're very good at this. I've made the comparison to Hammer quite a lot. I can imagine this being an in a Hammer movie as well. You know, it's similarly restricted from a camera movement perspective, but compensates for it with the sumptuousness of the mise en scène within the frame itself as well. And yeah, there's just something very cozy about that. As somebody who grew up in the 70s, you know, in the early 80s, watching those Hammer movies late on TV when I probably shouldn't have been. yeah, I love all that stuff, and it's really nicely put together here.
Take your cloak, citizen. Horrible night.
Where is Jacques?
Jacques, oh, he's sick. He asked me to help him out. You must be the citizen who ordered the room. This way.
Love it. It's doing a voice.
Here we are.
It's like Hannibal in the A-Team, isn't it? It's I mean, there's no real reason to be doing a character, but I love it.
Just the one.
There'll only be 2 of them.
I love how just unnatural being subservient is to Barbara, because she's such a tough cookie. It makes you realise, again, for the time, and it's remarkable how seeing her in this, traditional female role seems so out of character for a recurring lead character in a TV series from the early 60s. Pretty crazy. I kind of want to see a spin-off series of Ian and Barbara kind of running scams and having to play characters, like Axel Foley kind of thing. I'd watch that show. Yeah, the use of sound is so radio, having to imply that these things are happening, the clip-clop of the horses.
Did you see who it was?
No, did you?
No.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
We're quite safe here. I made certain I wasn't followed.
The meeting place is well chosen.
Love it. It felt like he was going there, didn't it? It is interesting, this idea of them brushing up against real, known history, and the ethics of getting involved and destiny. I guess I don't know whether that's something they ever talk about. This idea that are things just going to happen the way that they are, or can they stop them? Can they change them? Can they influence them? The butterfly effect, all that kind of stuff. So, it's not something that the show's necessarily been that interested in looking at, but this feels like it's kind of getting close to that.
Take it to the
maybe.
prison. If there are crowds, wait until they disperse. Barbara will watch out for you.
Right.
If you can get Susan, take her and join Barbara and wait for the carriage. Ian and myself will join you as soon as we can.
Position so
Yes,
often.
I know. You can't influence or change history. I learned that lesson with the Aztecs.
The events will happen just as they're written.
Okay, so that's interesting. First of all, a callback, here at the end of the season, and this idea that history is unchangeable. Okay. See how they. I'm getting mixed signals
we
here.
can't stem the tide, but at least we can stop being carried away with the flood.
I have a score to settle with you.
Really? I see you haven't heard the news yet, my man.
Who hasn't? Robespierre has been overthrown.
Whoops.
Yes, and Lemaitre was shot trying to run away.
Glad that we're seeing this guy again.
Shot, and now we're going to deal with his accomplices.
Who are you?
Why do you think a high-ranking official like myself came to Paris, I was part of the plan. Me to Lemaitre, was it not?
Well, after all, citizen, you did hit me on the head. And how was I to know Lemaitre was a traitor? And, well, you, citizen, that was a secret, wasn't it?
He just needs to get a new job, doesn't he? He's just a pawn in everybody's games. He just wants to, he just wants to get drunk at work and have as little drama and as little blunt force head trauma as possible. And, the doctor's swanning in like a peacock and just messing up his plans.
We have a carriage waiting.
A carriage? Oh, that's better than a tumbrel.
Yes,
What's happening?
They've just heard about the downfall of Robespierre, so it's a sort of celebration,
I don't wish to bet on him. He can't answer you back.
Shot in the jaw.
He tried riding as a leather, but too bad.
Hey, let's go, Susan. Let's go.
Yes, the fall of Robespierre has changed everything for me.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? Just the idea of just, letting history happen, staying out of its way, just trying to, survive it and not, get pulled into its currents, as the doctor said.
What are you going to do now?
First, I must find Jean.
I know how you feel only too well.
Why don't you all come with me?
No. We must travel our way.
Barbara, who are you really? Where do you all come from?
Here they are. He's got Susan.
He hasn't.
Come along, stand back. It's too dangerous. Come along.
And they don't know where they're heading for. Come to that.
No.
Do any of us?
Bit philosophical there.
Written by a maniac. I suppose if we tried to kill him with a gun, the bullet would have missed him.
Well, it's hardly fair to speculate, is it?
Yeah, that's interesting. There's just this idea that it's sort of future-proof. It's tamper-proof. I also like the fact that they've taken the costumes with them. I hope that hat turns up again.
Yes. No, I'm afraid you belittle things. Our lives are important, at least to us. And as we see, so we learn.
And what are we going to see and learn next, Doctor?
But unlike the old adage, my boy, our destiny is in the stars. So let's go and search for it.
It's a very nice ending there. Wow, okay, so was that... So they knew that was going to be the next episode in season 2. Yeah, I mean, gosh, what a great experience watching this and getting more of a context. I'm very much looking forward to season 2. I think that for me, I'm definitely leaning more towards the science fiction stories. I think that the historical stories, the temptation to get into that, that Machiavellian guest star stuff is perhaps greater in those episodes. And I'm not against that because I understand that's how TV shows work. It's like a lot of, even in more recent times, if you look at TV shows like, for example, The X-Files, that's like an anthology show, but with a couple of recurring characters. It's very rarely about Mulder and Scully. It's about the monster of the week or the story of the week, and they're just there as a sort of framing device and a voice of consistency for the audience. And these shows like that, it's not really always about the main characters, and that's just the nature of the show. And I think sometimes it's done better than others. And my feeling so far with this first season is that the science fiction elements make it more interesting, whereas it does feel that some of these longer historical serials do sometimes feel a little bit padded and a little bit overly convoluted because of the real life historical complexities that can be brought in. Having said that, they can work. I mean, Marco Polo I thought was great. That was a real highlight for me. That, along with the Dalek serial, was real big highlights so far in this first series. So yeah, looking forward to getting into season 2 and continuing on this journey. Really been appreciating the interactions I've been having with the Whovians out there on the comments page, so please keep them coming. Also remember that you can reach out via email if you want to at rewatchprojectpodcast@gmail.com. Do check out all the other stuff on this channel, including the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike audio podcast, as well as all of the other film, TV, music and pop cultural goodness on this channel. But I'll be back very soon in the world of Doctor Who for season 2. See you soon.